Hey friends, today I am continuing my March Use It or Lose It challenge, and I'm going to be showing you how I created the smaller version of the larger seed packet. And this one measures roughly 2.5 by a little under 4, and you could make these any sizes, so I just decided I wanted to do the larger one for this little album, and then I wanted to do a smaller version that you could add on projects or use in a tag flip, and then I made this one into a shaker. So let me show you how I made this one. So you're going to need your pattern paper, some type of adhesive, and a scoreboard or some way to score your paper and cut your paper. So I've already cut my paper out, and my paper measures 5 by 6. So this is a perfect project for 6 by 6 paper pads, or if you have some scraps. And then if your paper is directional at all, this one isn't, but say your paper is directional, you want to make sure you're mindful of the direction of your paper, and your top and bottom needs to be the long 6-inch side, so when you fold, your paper is going the right direction. But this really isn't a directional paper, so it didn't matter. All right, so once you have your 5 by 6 piece of paper, you are going to score on the 6-inch side at 1/2. So this is pretty much like our larger one. It's just making the score lines work for the size of paper. So you're going to have, your tabs are always going to be 1/2. And then we're going to go to 3 1/4. Because this is where we're going to fold for our tab, and then rotate, and then we're going to score at 1/2, and then we are going to score at 4 3/4, so we can have that. I'm sorry, we're going to score at 4 1/2, so we can have our 1/2-inch score mark. So 1/2 and 4 1/2. I need to change that on my paper here. 4 1/2. All right, so once you have your score, we're going to kind of repeat the process. Oh, I have a ladybug that wants to say hello. These things are awful right now. All right, so we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines. All right, and just like the other one, we have our tab, our tab, and our tab. So you are going to remove this, and you're going to remove these squares. So just like before, I'm going to remove by cutting the score line away. And then I'm going to miter my corners. Again, cut your score line away. And miter your corner. And then for these, I just cut across to miter my corner and cut that square away. So you're going to have these pieces cut away. So then your pocket is going to look like this. Now, if you want to turn this into a shaker, this is going to be your front and this is going to be your back. So your pocket is going to look like this. So the first time here that I made this, I put my pocket together and then I stitched it without thinking that I wanted to leave it a pocket. So what I did was I stitched 3 sides, filled it with my sequins, and then stitched up without realizing that I was stitching my pocket closed. So now I just have like a seed packet that you cannot fill. So if you want to make this usable so that you can put something in your pocket, you are going to want to stitch this now and make this into your sequin now, your shaker now. So let me grab some of this snow tool from the Dollar Tree and then cut a piece to size. And then I'm going to fold all of my pieces make sure all of my pieces are where I could see them, because if you fold these in, you're going to stitch them closed. So we're going to add this. And I like to have a little bit hanging over that I will trim later on. And then I'm going to add a clip here, and you can add a clip on however many sizes you want. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch 3 sides, and I'm going to leave 1 open so I can fill it with sequins mix. So let me stitch this really quick and I will come right back. Okay, so I have 3 sides stitched, and I'm going to go ahead and snip these threads. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill this with my sequins mix here. And you could put as much or as little as you want in here. And then I'm going to take this back over to the sewing machine and stitch it closed. Now that I have all 4 sides stitched, I'm going to go ahead and fold my edges down and trim the snow tool here to the size that I want it. And you can always go back in and trim it up a little bit more after we have put this together as well. Right now I'm just working on taking off some of that bulk. And then I need to trim this string and this string. Okay. Now let's put our little seed packet together. So remember that either this or this is going to be your top. So you just decide based on your paper what's going to be the top and what's going to be the bottom. And that's going to determine what side of, whether it's the right or left of your paper, is going to be your flap. So I'm looking at my paper and I think I'm going to have this be my top. So this is going to be my top, and I'm going to put my double-sided tape on the side here and on the bottom flap. All right, I was struggling to get the backing off of this one, but got it done. And I like to fold this down first go ahead and burnish that, and then fold my side over and burnish that. And then we have our top here. And I see I want to do a little bit more trimming on the snow tool there. Now I actually have a usable pocket on my shaker seed pouch. So then you could decorate this. You could leave this like here, like this. I think this would be really fun if you just decorate it simply with like a sentiment, maybe a flower. And then if you wanted to make a seed pouch big enough to hold one of these, you would just measure this and then figure out exactly how big you wanted your paper to be. I think this was a good size for adding that, even though it's bigger than this. But that gives you a little bit more room if you wanted to add more than one. I think this would be really fun to add a sequins mix in here, or some stickers, die cuts. These are so perfect for adding little bits and bobs for your swap partner. So let's go ahead and decorate this one together. So I grabbed my chipboard, flowers, and these like labels and little circles and tickets and things to decorate with. I also grabbed one of my ticket clusters in case I wanted to use one of the tickets. So let's see. I think I want like a label of some sort. Let's see what we have. That one is really long. Let's grab a couple things out. What is this? I like that color. That would be cute. A little circle could be cute. All right, maybe one of those. Let's look at the flowers. Oh, I really like this pink flower here. Is that too much pink though? I'd cover up that, but I don't mind covering that up. Let's see what other colors we have. I don't like the square. And I don't like that color. Oh, what about this envelope? That's pretty as well. That's pretty, and that's pretty. I'm kind of leaning towards that. Let's do that, and then we could add a sentiment on there. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to I'm grabbing the Rosie Studios Puffy Sentiments. I'm also, I think I might grab one of these Hobby Lobby bees as well. Maybe we'll add that on the flower. And then let's see. Let's do lots of love, make a wish. The best, love this. All right, I like love this. Okay, so I'm going to move my sequins to the top because I don't want them to get glued down. I have couple little ones. Let's see. Get them to move up. All right, there we go. All right, so let's see. Let's put this off to the side a little bit like that. All right, do we want to add one of these ruffles down first to kind of incorporate that? No, I actually like it without. All right, so let's add some glue. Now doing this is going to glue this part of the shaker down, but I don't mind that. And then do we want to pop this up? Add a little dimension to our pocket. And then let's put this on here. All right. There's a little bit of the chipboard there. Let's see if I can get that off. There we go. All right. And then let's maybe add the bee on here. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue, and we'll add a little bee down. And then we're going to do this. Love this. Right in our little label there. How cute. I love it. And it still shakes nicely, even though this part's glued down. And then you can fill it with all kinds of goodies. You could also punch a hole in it if you wanted to add it to a tag flip. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Even though I have sewed this one shut, I'm going to go ahead and decorate this one as well. I might add this one on a tag flip since it's not a pocket. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Items I use will be linked down below, and I'll also have in the description box the measurements for this size of the seat pocket. Have a wonderful day, guys. I will see you soon. Bye.